Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video we'll be making this beautiful backpack. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. So this is the front of the bag. I already cut it out. The length of the bag is 12 inch and the width is also 12 inch. I went ahead to cut what I'll be using to make this bag. A lining. I'll also be making use of flans, like the banner flans, the same thing. I'll also be making use of this very light press pad, and I'm making use of all this because the material is very light. So if you are using a strong leather material, you don't need to add all this, you can just add a line into it. Okay, so these are the front and the back of this backpack. This here we have the pocket. The front of the bag is going to have a pocket, and this is the pocket. So the width of the pocket is 6.5 and the length is also 6.5, so they also have same measurement. And the next thing I'm going to do is to notch the length. Just fold it into 2 equal parts and notch the middle, right? So now I'll be taking the measurement around the pocket, measuring around the pocket. This will help me to get the actual side of the pocket. Okay, so after measuring it out, we have 25.5. So I'm just going to bring in my material now to measure the side of the pocket. I'm using the 25.5 inch measured earlier. Okay. I also added an inch allowance, so the total of everything now is 26.5 inch. Okay, so I'm measuring 26.5 inch again. So now next thing I'm going to do is to determine the wideness of this side. So I'm using 2, but I'm going to have half-inch allowance, that is 2.5. By the time I finish sewing, we'll be left with 2 inch. So I'm just going to mark 2.5 to the point we got 26.5 inch. The next thing I'm going to do is to join the lines by using my meter rule, and I'm going to cut it out. When I finished cutting it out, I also cut my lining and this light brush pad I told you about. I didn't add flans because I didn't see any need to. And this is the side for the main bag, the big bag I showed you at the beginning of the video. I also didn't add any flans to it. So I'll just take this to my machine and close it, the flanks and the lining, sew it together for the pocket, the front and back of the bag, the side, and then I'll bring it back so we can start making this bag proper. So this is it. I finished sewing it together. I can see that it's looking very thick compared to how it was earlier. The front of the bag and the side, everything, I just finished sewing it neatly together. So I'll be working with the pocket first, okay? I'll be dropping every other one aside and just focusing on the pocket for now. So this is the part I notched earlier. I'm just going to re-notch it so it will be more visible, okay? So once I'm done with this, I just put this side around it so that you can just see what we are going to make. This side is going to be, and this side is going to have a zip which you can use to access the pocket. So for the zip, you can just decide to fold this side into 2 equal parts and use one part for the zip. But for this pocket, I want the side for the zip to be shorter. That's why I'm making use of 12 inch, so it will be shorter. So once I measure my 12 inch, I'll just cut it out from that 12 inch. So this is how short the zip is going to be. If you want yours to be longer, I can decide to increase it. So now I'm just going to divide this zip part into two. The zip is going to be in between it, so I need to divide it into two. So I'm folding it this way so it can be easier for me, and I'm going to mark the middle. So I'm going to do this till I get to the end. And I'll be dividing it from the middle, the part I mark. Like I told you earlier, the zip is going to be in between this part. So I'll be taking this to my machine to sew it the way it is now. I finished sewing the zip to the part where it should be, and now I just need to join the two sides together so they can become one again. Okay, so I'm just taking this to my machine and sew on top of it. So this is it, I finished sewing it. Now I'm just going to notch the middle of this side. Only the side with zip. Only the side with zip. I'm not notching the middle of both sides, just the side with zip. Okay, so from the beginning of that side to the end is where I'll be notching. The part without zip has nothing to do with this, please. Okay, so once I finish notching it, I'm going to bring in our pocket. And then this is the part we notch from the pocket. It will align with the part I notch in the zip. Okay, so I'm going to take this to my machine to sew it. But before that, I want to illustrate it so that you can understand what I'm going to do in my machine. The part where I pin is the point I'm going to start from, and that is the point I notch. I'm going to take it round like this, as I'm doing now. Just going to take it around. By the time I go to my machine, this is the same way I'm going to do it. Okay, so I'm going to stop at this point. When I get to this point, I'm not going to sew it around through. I'm going to stop at the point where I pin in the point where I pin. That's where I'm going to stop. So I'm also going to take it in the other side also, and sew from that point to this point. Okay, then I'm going to fold it like I'm doing now, like I'm showing you now. Oh, you understand it better when I finish showing it. When I finish showing it in my machine, you're going to understand it better. So I finished sewing the background, like I told you, I finished sewing the pocket round. So I'm just going to turn the front now, so that we can face it to the front of our bag. Okay, so for that, let's notch the front of the bag. We're going to fold it into two equal parts like I'm doing now and notch the middle. Same thing for the upper part as well. This is going to help me fit the pocket very well. Okay, so now I'm just going to notch the bottom side of the pocket, just the bottom side. Remember the other time we notch only for the zip, but this time around we'll be notching only for the bottom side. So once I finish notching it, I'm going to be fixing it to the bag. I want you to note something very important, and that is that the part you notch, both for the front of the bag and for the bottom part of the pocket, should align. That's why I'm just using a chalk to illustrate it. Those parts should align. So I'm going to take this to my machine now and sew from that point I notch, and then I'm going to show you. So this is the pocket, though I haven't completely sewn it yet. I just wanted to see what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Okay, so I started from the point I notched, like I told you. I started from the point I notched to this point here, and from there to this other point. I'm taking this little by little because I don't want to make mistake, and I want the pocket to sit at the middle of the bag. So I'm just going to continue sewing the bag now. Before that, you should also know that the point where you notch at the upper part of the bag should align to the point you notch at your zip. Okay, so I'm taking this to my machine to continue sewing. Alright, so I've finished sewing the pocket completely, and you can see that it's looking very beautiful and neat. Okay, so this is all for the front of our bag. So we'll be working with the back of the bag now. The back of the bag is just going to have the handle. Okay, so for the handle, I'll be using this black belt for the handle. and I'm using 54 inch, that is 1.5 inch for the hand. I'm just going to cut it out and use the same measurement to cut for the second hand as well. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. So once I cut this out, I'm going to cut this other one. I'm using this tiny one now. It's about 4 inch. Yes, I use 4 inch, so that when I finish folding it, will be having 2 inch. This is going to be is going to carry our 4 corner ring. You're going to see where I'm going to put it. So I'm needing 2 of it, so that's why I'm actually cutting out 2. I'll be needing 2 of it. I'm cutting out the second one now. The next thing I'm going to do is to notch the bottom part of our bag, so it will help me place our handle very well. To know the right point to place it, I'm notching the bottom part of the bag. So this is what I told you, this small part is going to carry our 4 corner ring. So I'll be sewing at that point, almost at the end of the bag, and I'll be sewing it here also. So I'll just go and sew this in my machine, and then when I finish sewing it, this is what we have in the bag. Okay, so I'm also notching the upper part of the bag like we did for the front part. That's how we're going to do for the back part as well. Notch both sides, the up and the down part. The next step is to fix the adjuster to the 54 inch we cut as the handle. Okay, so I'll be fixing it, my adjuster, for the both handle, the both hand of the bag. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to fix my hand to the bag. And while I'm doing that, I now also forget that I notched that part. So I'm going to fix it in a way that the hand is going to be at the middle of the bag. So while I'm supporting this hand with the scissors, I'm going to use this to cover the hand and sew it also. I'm sewing this in the bag now to cover that hand part. Okay, and I'm going to sew it. So this is what we have after I finished joining that part to our hand. You see that place we are actually done with that part. So now the next thing to round this section, this back part out, is to fix our hand and the 4 corner ring and the adjuster to join everything together, so we can wrap this part out. So I want you to take this part very seriously, because it can be very confusing at times. So I'm taking my time now to fix this thing very well so I can understand it. But this part is usually very difficult for some people, especially those of you that are seeing this kind of thing for the first time. It might be kind of troublesome for you to fix it. So that's why I'm just doing it as I'm trying to explain it as much as I can. So I'll be doing the same thing for the second hand as well. So this is our hand, we finished joining it. One thing I won't want you to forget is to sew this end to the end. Like just sew it together like I illustrated here now. Just sew it like that. That end to just join it together like that and sew it. Okay. Now this is the side of the bag. This side is going to have our zip. Okay, it's going to have our zip. And this side, you're not going to use it for the bottom of the bag. It's just for this part where it's showing now, not for the bottom part. Okay, we are going to fix something else there. So now this our zip is going to be different from the way we put it in our pocket. It's not going to be the same way now. It's going to be very, very different from it. Now our total length is 32 and a half. Okay, the length of our side 32 and a half. So now we are going to determine how we are going to put our zip, determine where our zip is going to be. I told you that I usually like our zip parts to be shorter, so I'm going to also make it shorter. You are going to see how I'm going to do it now. So first of all, I fold this front of the bag into two. So remember, I already notched that part earlier, so I'm going to measure from there to the point I want it to be. You can try to use 8, 9, 10, as much as you want it, how long you want your zip to be, but I'm using 8. I told you that I don't usually like our zip to be very wide, especially for this backpack. Now there are some zip that I can make it, there are some bag that I can like make the zip part to be very open, but for this one I want it to be a little bit close. So I'm using 8. 8 into 2 now is 16, so I'm going to be measuring 16 from our side. Okay, and I'll be adding an inch allowance, which is total will become 17. So I'm just going to cut from that 17. So now before I put our zip, I want to put a short handle where you can just hold instead of hanging on your shoulder. You can just hold it on your hand. That short handle you see in most backpack. That's what I want to fix. So I'll be using this belt also to do our short handle. So to do that, I need to notch the middle. The part where I'm putting the zip is the same part that is going to have the short handle. Please note, the same part that is going to have the short handle. So I'm notching it, folding it to 2 equal parts and notching it. Once I'm done with that, I'll just bring this open now. So the I'm just going to rule a line in the part I notch, form a straight line there. Sorry, it's not visible, not very visible, but I'm just showing a very straight line there. That's what I'm just trying to do there now. And from that line, I'm going to measure to 2 inch my right hand side, and I'm going to measure from that line also to 2 inch from my left hand side also. Once I'm done with that, I'll be bringing in my tape, which is going to serve as the short handle. Okay, I'm going to put it in equally in the middle of the bag. Once I get to that 2, I'll sew and stop there. Okay, I'll sew at that point in the 2. That's where I'm going to sew and stop, and from there I'm going to measure on that point where I sew and stop. Now I'm going to measure 8 inch, and I'm going to fix that 8 inch at the other 2, which is on my right side. I'm going to sew and start from there also to the end. Okay, so this is what I meant, this is what I was explaining to you now, that this part that is open is for our handle. Okay, 8 inch, which I use for our handle. So next thing, I'll be fixing our zip. This is how I'm going to be fixing our zip. I'll place our zip like this now, the way I place it now, and I'm going to fold our material in. You understand what I'm doing? This is how I'm going, when I take it to my machine, this is how I'm going to be sewing my zip, folding my material in to be on top of the zip. Okay, this is how I'll be doing it when I take it to my machine till I get to the end of it. So I brought the camera to my machine because I want you to see how I'm going to fix the zip for this other part of the bag, the front part of the bag. So I'm taking this 8 I notched earlier, I'm taking it inside more. That part is the 8 I notched earlier. I'm just going to fold this in, and I'm putting my zip under it like this. I'm just going to sew around it. Alright, so I finished sewing it together, and I also used my zip head to join both of it together, the front and the side. So now this is the side that when we finish cutting out the zip, this part that remains, this is it. I just went ahead and fold it into two and divide it into equal parts. So I'll be joining one part of it to this end, sewing it to that end now. Place it properly, turn it at the back, and I'll be sewing this part to this part and this other part to this other part as well. How it is when I finish sewing it. This is how it is, this is how the sewing, this is how I sew it together on the both side. Okay, so now next thing we are going to do is to join the back to the side as well. We finished joining the front to the side, so now it's time to join the back to the side. Since you are not going to put zip in that end, this part is very easy. All you just have to do is to join, start from the part you notch, start from the part you notch, start from that middle, start from there. You can sew to your left hand side first, you can sew to your right hand side first, whichever suits you best. Okay, but make sure you start from the part you notch. Okay, so this is what we got. After I finished sewing it, this is our bag. You can see that it's looking very neat and beautiful at the back. Don't forget to cut out everything that will make your bag rough. So this is the front of our bag also. So we are almost done with this bag actually. What's remaining is this bottom part. So now I'm just going to measure around the bottom part in order to get the side for it. So after measuring out, we are having 34 inch. Now this is the side. I already went ahead to cut this side, and I also cut my light gum stay, the flange and the lining for it. So now I'll just take this round. I added half inch allowance. What we measured was 34 inch, so I added half inch. The total of everything is 34 and a half inch. So now I'm just measuring it around to show you that, to be sure that what we have here is actually 34 and a half inch. So this is it, we are actually having here 34 and a half inch. So now just go ahead and join this together, join the flange and everything together. And for the back, I'll be adding a cord. This is a cord, so I'll be adding it on the back so the back can stand very well and that part of the bag will be firm. You can be able to stand on its own. So I'll be sewing the cord around the bag now. So I finished sewing the cord together and sewing everything together. I also added that accessory at the bottom there. You can decide to add it to design the front of the bag. I add mine at the bottom. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to take this to my bag, and for that I'm going to notch this side now. I'm going to notch it. I'm going to make sure that it is equal, and then I'll notch it. I'm notching the side where the cord starts and where the cord ends. That part then is where the cord starts and where it ends. And I'm going to place it at the back of the bag. The side of the bag that I notch now is going to correspond with the back of the bag. Remember that we notch that part also at the back of the bag. We notch that part. So I'm going to make it correspond. I'm going to sew this in my machine now. This is what we have after I finish sewing it. And you can go ahead and cut everything that is rough in the bag. If the lining is rough, you can use your lighter to burn the edges so that it will not be losing. Okay, that's how you can keep your bag neat. So this is the front of our bag. We finished making this beautiful backpack. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and don't forget to like and subscribe, please. I'll be posting bags like this. So please subscribe so that you get notified when I post videos like this. Thank you very much.